Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Reset and Refocus. This is a fall wellness check-in. I am Amanda Steele, and I want to say thank you, first of all, for being here. I know that life is busy between work and home and kids and their schedules and your schedule and all of the other things that are happening right now in the fall. It is really busy. So, if you are showing up here, I want to just give you a pat on the back first and foremost because it says a lot about you. It says, that you're committed. And this really isn't about stressing out. It's really about taking a pause. So I'm proud of you for doing it. And I'm honestly honored that you chose to do this with me, whether you're live or whether you're watching the replay. So, in case you don't know me, I'm Amanda Steele. I'm a certified wellness coach through NASM, National Academy of Science Medicine. And I am also a mom. My son is 4 years old. My husband is Glenn, and we've been married for almost 10 years now. And I also work full time for Head Start. So 40 hours a week. I am leading a staff of 8 home visitors for the program. And it is, it's a busy life. I feel like wellness shouldn't feel like a chore or a full-time job. And that honestly, really, you should feel like you want to make wellness your job. Because when we invest in ourselves and we take the time to work on ourselves, everything else improves. Tonight is really about hitting pause, reflecting, resetting, and realigning before we finish this year, which before we know it, we will be through 2025. And so, what we're going to do is, as a wellness coach, I am certified to walk any of my clients, whether it's one on one or in small groups or in workshops like this, through the 5 pillars of wellness. And what that looks like is movement, and you'll notice this on your PDF: movement, recovery and regeneration or rest, mental and emotional well being, sleep, and stress management. So I added stress management in there just because it's usually one that goes overlooked, but it kind of goes along with that mental and emotional well-being and recovery and regeneration. Stress is a big factor for a lot of us, so I kind of added it as a bonus, but it really does fit underneath that mental and emotional well-being because when we are managing our stress, not only do we feel better and everything around us feels easier, our body actually, literally biologically, it is responding differently. And anyway, that's a whole topic for another, probably another workshop. Um, so we'll check in on these. And it's really not about perfection at all. In fact, as I've been promoting this, I really have mentioned that there is nobody, not one human, that actually has all of these things at a 5. And honestly, there are things where you might rate yourself as a 5, where you feel really good. But this isn't really about perfection, it's about awareness. Sometimes we get overwhelmed thinking that we have to overhaul our own life, and that's really not the case. Real change actually starts with clarity, and that's really about knowing what is working well for you so you don't have to try as hard. Knowing what is not working for you, and then you can make shifts that make big differences in your everyday life and then long term. So, we're going to walk through this together. And I'll keep it really simple because it's pretty straightforward. So, as you are watching this, there's nobody on live. So, I'm just going to go through it and give you, as you're watching the recording, the permission and actually guidance to hit pause. I really want you to take time. And honestly, if you're watching the replay, I hope you have about a half an hour to an hour set aside from this. And if you don't, stop and set a time on your calendar when you do have that time. This is going to be much more worth your time if you have time to think about it. So anyway, we'll go pillar by pillar. So I want you to give yourself a score from 1 to 5 for each one. 1 being this area is an area that needs some love or attention right now, and 5 being, you feel really good about this, you're feeling really good, you're not thinking too hard, you're not trying too hard, or it's working pretty smoothly. To be honest, for my movement and even my nutrition and most days my sleep, I feel really good. I'm like a 4.5 to a 5 in this area. These things, because I've been working on them for 10 years, building these routines and really especially like honing in on my sleep as I am able to as a mom with an unpredictable child in terms of sleep. I control what I can control, and then I'm in general, as long as he's sleeping well, then I'm sleeping well, and even if he's not, I'm doing the best that I can. Um, so rate yourself. Go through and mental and emotional well-being. I would say I'm about a 4. I do have areas to work on in that recovery and regeneration. I feel okay. I would say like a 4, probably. I don't rest really well, and that's not necessarily like a physical thing. I do always take rest days, at least one full rest day a week, where I am not working out, where I'm using the time where I would be working out in different ways. For example, I don't work out on Saturdays and I go grocery shopping, following the meal plan that we've made for the week, and I go get all of our grocery shopping done, and then we usually have something to do, which keeps me active, but it's not an actual workout, so my body has a chance to rest. Some days I'm laying on the couch. But usually we are running around or I'm meal prepping. I typically will have a really active day, like in terms of active recovery, where I'm not weightlifting, I'm not doing any hit, I'm not um, running or anything like that. I'm giving myself and my body and my muscles a chance to rest. And then on Sunday, I usually sleep in a little bit more, give my body that sleep, a chance to catch up if I kind of need it from that week. And so think about that. I wanted to give you a little bit some examples. In stress management, I would say it depends on the week, to be honest. Right now, I think I can rate myself like a 4. Um, but be honest with yourself. And then give yourself notes about what is working, what's feeling good about your movement. You know, if you did rate yourself as a 5, really write down and think about what is working for you. Is it that you have a plan or a schedule to follow? Is it that you actually have accountability partners to go to the gym or to check in with after you do your workouts at home? Um, or if this is a lower rating for you, what changes or adjustments do you want to or need to make? You know the answer. And this is the beauty of this, is that this workshop is not one where I'm going to give you the answers, because you only have your own answers. Everybody who takes this course or this workshop, I'm sorry, everybody who takes this workshop and everybody who fills out this PDF is going to have something different. And that's actually the beauty of this. It's proof that you deserve an individualized coach who is going to work with you and not give you a cookie cutter plan that they might give to all of their clients. That's the difference between working with a coach who actually is able to serve you one-on-one, is that, or in a small group where you can have your needs met in a smaller group. It doesn't need to be one-on-one. But that is the most high quality situation, obviously, because you are getting full attention and full coaching and full everything. But I would say that very small, groups of like 20 max is also really great, because it's then can sort of act like a mastermind, and you can get ideas from other people, whereas you're not necessarily saying I'm going to do that too, because that's what she's doing, but you can get ideas about what other people might be doing if you feel stuck, if that makes sense. So feel free to hit the pause button and set a timer, turn on some music, fill this out and think, really, where are the areas that I feel really good? Rate yourself and don't overthink it. Really don't overthink it, right? To walk you through it, if you need it, movement. I want you to think about, how often are you moving in ways that feel good and not like punishment? How often are you moving in ways that feel good and not like punishment? Because if you feel like you should be exercising and you don't want to, or you can't get yourself, you can't force yourself, then it's a red flag that this isn't working for you. Okay? What about nutrition? Are you nourishing your body consistently without guilt or extremes? Are you cutting out whole food groups? Are you cutting out foods, even if they're natural foods? If you are following along with people who are telling you that sugar is the devil or not to eat fruit because it has sugar, or not to eat carrots because they have sugar in them, unless you're cert like your registered dietitian or somebody told you that because of your specific, like if you're diabetic, for example, if you have a specific condition that's been diagnosed and you do have a meal plan from a dietitian that says, don't or avoid or whatever fruits because they have more sugar, certain fruits because they have more sugar because you have a diabetic condition or some other sort of condition that would require you to do that. There's no need to be afraid of fruits or carrots because they have more sugar. Really, when it comes down to it, if your goal is to lose weight, then track how many calories you're taking in and make sure that you're eating less. Okay. Nutrition is a really big one. It's a really big one that a lot of people, my clients, have struggled with, and I myself have struggled with. So I'm speaking from experience that you don't actually need to be cutting out the things that you really enjoy. And you don't need to be cutting out fruits that you enjoy because they have sugar, or being afraid of vegetables or fruits. These are healthy, nutrient-packed options. And to be honest, it's Halloween time. I am doing this because often Halloween can be a slip slide at the end of the year. People they binge on candy and then they start to feel like shit. They have Thanksgiving and they eat way too much day after day until all the leftovers are gone, and then they feel like shit. And then they do the same thing through December, and then they feel like shit, and then they are starting over in January, feeling like shit about themselves. And my whole idea of doing this right now before it is candy mayhem is to say you can enjoy candy. You can do it in a really mindful way, as long as you're doing this reflection and this work and being aware of yourself and your goals and your I don't know, not habits, but tendencies. I mean, for me, I know that when I drink alcohol, whether it's like one or two or more than that, which never really happens for me much anymore, but I know that I only need to have one beer to say screw it about my nutrition for the rest of the night. I know that about myself. And so in that case, I either decide that it's going to be okay for me to do that for one day a week, or I hide the things away, or I get it out of my house. And the more that you know, again, this is all about awareness, the more that you know about yourself, the better off you're going to be. In terms of recovery and regeneration, do you make time to rest, to breathe, to stretch, or to just be? And this is why I've rated myself pretty low here, because even though I do take rest days every single week, no matter what, at least one, if not two, I do not sit still very well. And I really, unless I have a plan that is working in mobility and stretching and taking care of myself in terms of my mobility and flexibility, which is important, especially as we age, then I'm not doing it. And so the more that you know about yourself, I did just finish a program where it was built in and I did great. It was just already there. And so knowing yourself, obviously, you can see I've done a lot of thinking and understanding about myself. I need something that has a plan that's built in, where rest is part of the plan and program, and where mobility and flexibility is part of the plan, or I really don't, I can't follow it. When it comes to rest days, I also told you a little bit about this earlier that I had to shift out of feeling like I had to work out every single day into knowing that the magic happens in rest, in recovery, and in regeneration. And so I'm not just only talking about sleep, I am talking about taking time off of workouts because that is the only time when your body and your muscles are able to repair and rebuild themselves. And if that's what you're going for, which I bet it is, if you are like doing a movement or exercise program, you don't want to be injured. You don't want to be sidelined, right? So you have to take your rest days, otherwise you're risking injury. You really are. And so I had to reprogram my brain into thinking Saturday is my day when I get to go grocery shopping and buy all of our healthy food and look forward to that. And I had to reprogram my brain that Sunday is my day when I get up, hopefully before the boys, and I cook myself a big, huge plate of eggs and veggies and oatmeal or a waffle and have coffee, hopefully in silence, even if it's not in silence. Wesley's usually sitting by the TV and I'm just enjoying that. And I look forward to that rest. Then the rest of the day, I'm meal prepping, I'm doing laundry, doing everything to get ready for the week, and I'm not exercising usually. Every now and then there's a Sunday when I go to a spin class, but that I always make sure that if I go to a spin class on a Saturday or Sunday, the other day is absolutely rest. And even sometimes on like a Wednesday or a Thursday, if I know that I have two spins coming up, I'll take it easier on my workouts in the middle of the week so that I'm not overdoing it. And I've had to really train my brain over 10 years to know that double workouts weren't serving me. They were actually putting me at risk. And they were really just setting me up. So think about that. Do you make time to rest, breathe, stretch, or just be? And rate yourself on that and be honest. There's no shame. Nobody's checking this. This is for you. Mental and emotional well-being. How's your stress level? You can rate yourself here with stress management and with mental and emotional well-being. So, in terms of mental and emotional well-being, how's your stress level? And do you have space to feel joy or connection? Do you have a space where you feel like you belong? Do you have good relationships, whether it's like with a partner or a spouse or your kids, and your family? Do you have a place where you belong? Like, do you have high quality relationships with your coworkers? Do you have a good, like, I'm thinking of the community that I'm part of at a local spin studio. That really, if you have a sense of belonging, that's part of your mental and emotional well-being. It can also play into stress management, but stress management is really also about, managing your stress, having coping skills for identifying when you know that you are stressed, feeling stressed out, and I took a deep breath because I know about myself. When I feel stressed out, I need to take a deep breath, and I really need to like bring myself back down because usually I feel all the way up here. Ooh, my triceps are sore. Um, I feel up here, and to bring myself back down, I have to take at least one deep breath, usually a few. So knowing what those coping skills are to help you manage your stress is really important. Do you have those or do you not? So rate yourself about the community and the well-being in terms of the mental and emotional well-being and belonging and stress management. You can do that in the bottom one. And then sleep, are you getting quality rest and waking up with energy? Now, I'll tell you this, I am a mom, and I always felt like I didn't really sleep well. And then I had a kid, and then I realized how delusional that was for me because I didn't even realize how bad sleep could get and how hard sleep could feel when it was out of my control. Um, but so rate your sleep. Are you getting quality rest and are you waking up with energy? And now, like, depending on the week, usually I will say that yes, I usually get at least 7 hours of sleep. It's usually 7.5 on a good night, Monday through Friday. And then on the weekends, I usually can hit 8, sometimes 8.5, even 9 on a really, really good weekend thing. But honestly, my body is in a cycle where I typically can't sleep in late on the weekends, and I have learned one through my wellness course that and through personal experience that going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time is has actually been the absolute best thing for me to feel my best in terms of my energy, and to be able to get the best sleep possible by going to bed and waking up around the same time every single day, even close to on the weekends. On the weekends, I'm not getting up at 4:30, but I sometimes do get up at 5:30 because I physically can't sleep any longer because I've gotten enough quality rest, which is a good thing. Okay, so once you're through that and once you've got your scores, the rest of this is really just coming up with your plan. Okay, so which pillar of wellness, which area needs the most love right now, and why? It should be very clear. And if you have two, go ahead. If you rated yourself low on two, you can write both of them in there. That's okay. So what one small shift can you commit to this week here? So for example, if mine is recovery and regeneration and knowing that I don't do well, what I need to do, because I'm going into a new program, is I need to make sure that I'm picking one with rest days. I always do that because I have fitness professionals giving me my thing. So rest is built in. And I also know that I need stretching to be in there. And I need to give myself permission to just kind of rest a little bit more on the weekends. They're always really busy, they're always pretty overwhelming. And even if I can give myself a half an hour to just sit and be on the couch, I know that doesn't sound like a long time, but for me, on the weekends, that is a really long time for me to even just sit down and chill. So that for me is my answer. But I want you to think about really what is yours. What's your area and make one little thing. For me it was actually two. It was pick a program that supports this and rest for 30 minutes or more on the weekend. Okay? Just for this week. Where in your life has have you been going through the motions instead of showing up with intention, right? So what would it look like to lead yourself with purpose? And I think this one can be really challenging for people. Even for me, I'm kind of struggling with thinking, what would it look like to lead myself with purpose? Well, that goes back to having clarity and knowing what I want for myself. And so think about it. What is it that you want? What is it that you're going for in your wellness? For me, I want to be strong enough to hold my kid for as long as he'll let me. I want to have enough energy to keep up with him. I want to have a clear enough mind that I can focus on all of the things that I need to do in my life. And I want to feel amazing in my skin, to be honest. Like, I really want to feel confident in my skin. And that means training and fueling like somebody who wants to feel good in their skin. It doesn't mean restricting myself because that's not a goal of mine. My goal is to be able to feel good in my skin while I eat Reese's pumpkins because it's that time of the year without guilt. And it doesn't need to be one or the other. And that's actually why I am a wellness coach, is I want people to know that they don't need to shame themselves if they want to enjoy candy. It's just knowing that when it comes down to it, what is most important? Sometimes we'll choose the thing that is important now without thinking about what's most important. And so what is that really? Get real with yourself. Like almost as if you were having a really like an accountability talk with a close friend who you trust and who would trust you and who wants your accountability. Do that for yourself, and be honest. What would it look like to lead yourself with purpose? So knowing what you want, knowing what you want your life to look like and feel like will drive you to understand what it will look like to show up with intention and make intentional choices. Okay. And then going into this last one, really, as long as you answered number two, number three should be an easy answer. What really is it that you want to feel like at the end of this year? What do you want to feel like? And what will you need to do to protect that feeling between now and then? So think about boundaries that you might need to set. Think about habits that you might need to build or maintain or um, start. And think about support you might need in order to be successful with that. What kind of circle do you need? What kind of support do you need to ask for from the people that you live with or the people that are around you the most? And what kind of time is that going to take? So if you know that you want to cook at home more often, what kind of time is it going to take for you to go to meal plan, to go to the grocery store, to prep all that food? And then you need to put that on your schedule because it's not just going to happen magically. It's not. I know that from myself and from coaching hundreds of people. If it's not on your calendar, it's not happening. So think about all of those things. Really think about how it is that you want to feel. If it's that you want to up your workouts to an hour, what is that going to look like? Where is that time going to come from? If you want to sleep more, what is that going to look like? What do you have to say no to in order to say yes to more sleep? And that is not a bad thing, by the way. Think about it and then figure out what's next. Because once you have this level of awareness, you are able to know what to do. The biggest problem for most people is like lacking clarity and not knowing where to start or what to do or what behaviors they really need to do. And you just spent the time figuring that out. So this should be really easy. And November is coming. It's right around the corner. With it, it really, like I talked about, it's really the time when most people hit pause, right? But what if this year you didn't? What if this year you hit the gas pedal? Or at least you decided that you're not going to slip slide backwards because all it takes is one decision. So this fall, I am offering something that's different. It's actually not different. It's very similar to what I've been doing for years. It's just in a new way. It's simple, supportive, and soul feeling. It's designed to help keep you consistent, focused, and connected to other people through the chaos of the holidays. Because your health isn't seasonal, it's personal. There is no finish line. I'm excited because I have a group online that is called Health Has No Finish Line. It is what I've run my groups off of for a lot of years as I partnered with Beachbody, and now it's my own through a platform called School. And I really want you to think about what is it that you need? And if it is, resources, accountability, a space to belong, um, a coach who's going to be able to give you education and information to be able to make your decisions off of legitimate sources. And somebody who's also a mom, if you're a mom and you're trying to be healthier, then you sometimes just need to hear it from another mom who's been through the sleepless nights, who's not going to shame you for choosing sleep one night or one morning over a workout, because to be honest, sleep is in these pillars along with movement because both are important. And as an individual, you get to choose which one is more important. And sleep, sometimes as a parent who isn't as much in control of their sleep schedule, sometimes sleep wins and sometimes it's the right choice. And as somebody who personally did not sleep as much as I should have or could have when I was postpartum because I was working out. Um, I kind of wish that I would have done things differently. Not that I would change it because it is what it is, it's over. But in reflection, an honest, true reflection, now that I know what I know about sleep and how important it is, I would, if I'm not going through postpartum ever again, but if I were to, I would allow myself a lot more grace knowing that my body has been through a lot, literally everything with me for 38 years and 2 weeks. Except 2 weeks and one day, in case anybody's counting, and apparently I am. But we need to start thinking of our bodies differently. We need to um, we need to be appreciative and grateful about all that they've done for us. And in this way, in looking at wellness from a holistic perspective, we can really actually be truly well instead of just fit or skinny. Um, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to lose weight, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to be strong. Um, but if it is at the detriment of something else on this list, then it's not, to me, it's not healthy and it's not well. We all need a balance, which is why I'm running this workshop. Okay, so that's that. If you would like any more information specifically on the school challenge, we are doing a build your own turkey trot for November. So I'm running a double challenge in November. The first is a build your own turkey trot. And so what that looks like is you choose your own mileage. So you can choose 1 mile, you can choose a 5K, you can choose a 10K, you can choose a whole marathon if that's what you want to do. You build your own turkey trot, okay? And you can choose if you want to walk it, if you want to run it, if you want to jog it, if you want to do a mix, if you want to push a stroller while you're doing it. That's what I'm doing. And you can decide when. We're going to guide you to choose a day, one day during the week of United States Thanksgiving. So that is between Sunday, the 23rd of November and Sunday, the 29th of November. So you can run your turkey trot anytime, and then you can post about that, take a selfie, and tell us about how that went inside of our school community. That's the first part. And then we're also doing a 30-day gratitude challenge because when it comes to this holistic wellness picture, gratitude is really going to help you manage stress, make sure that you are reflecting on the things that are making you mentally and emotionally well. You might even be able to be grateful about your nutrition or your movement for the day or the fact that you've gotten sleep. I'll give the participants a list of prompts, so 30 prompts for 30 days. And I haven't decided if I'm going to do one prompt a day or if I'm just going to give everybody the prompts like right away. I have not decided that. But there will be 30 days of gratitude. So the idea is that you're really showing up and you're really reflecting and you're really thinking about the things that you're thankful for in the month of Thanksgiving and really leaning into that and feeling good about all that you really do have in your life because that leads to more and more abundance and happiness and more momentum, to be honest. So that's that. The double challenge together, it's $14. So that's all you need to pay to get into our group. It's $14 to get in. And I'll be honest, that group is already so strong, so amazing. There's women posting in there every single day with their sweaty selfies. We share recipes in there. We share life stuff in there that doesn't have to do with workouts or meals. We share the real stuff and you're allowed to be you. The one thing that I do say is that you have to come with a solution focused brain because we don't have victims in here. We don't play the victim mindset game. We are empowered. We make decisions and we make choices and we own our choices and we have accountability about the things that we're doing. And it's okay to be human because we're all human. Okay, so that's a little bit about that. If you're interested in any of those things, please send me a message in any way possible. Email is probably the best since I know that you have that if you're registered for here. But find me on Instagram, on my personal or my business page at AC Steel or at like the metal dot LLC Instagram tags. And I just can't wait. If you fill this out, send me a screenshot and let me know what you landed on. You are not in this alone ever. Anytime you're a client of mine, and right now you are, even though this is free, I consider you a client because we're working together and a partner, really, not a client, a partner. Um, so tell me what you filled out, tell me what your goals are, and join me in our group. I mean, that's the next realistic step. If you've created momentum and clarity in this exercise, you can head right in there and know exactly what to do. And then you can also finish the month next month celebrating a 5K and with lots of things to be grateful for with your gratitude challenge. Thank you so much. I'll see you later. Bye.